and welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. I am so excited to have my guest today because I have gotten to interview her once already for my podcast, Talk to Me with Liv Harrison. And yes, even though that is asleep right now, it will be resurrected and come back. But I started following this lovely woman because of a family member. We both actually love this family member to death, and he lives in South Louisiana. Everyone I know who follows her and loves her to pieces, that is not why they follow her. They are not into her at all because of the same reasons. They know her because she's a dynamic speaker. She is a phenomenal author. She is, radio, podcasting. You can't name something that this woman does not do. I love her because we are both Cajuns and we're both from Louisiana, and I can say words to her and she knows what they mean. So that's it. I'm done. I don't need any other reason. I am, of course, talking about the Cajun queen herself, Katie McGrady, who is now the new voice on SiriusXM, the Catholic channel. Katie, I wore camo just for you because I felt like that was a Duck Dynasty.
Yes. Yes. Only in Louisiana do you wear camo as a fashion statement, not for the practicality of going hunting.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I paired it with some bling. I knew you would.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
You would appreciate it. So Katie, thank you for being here today because I'm so excited. I love talking to you. Again, like I said, it is not for any of the reasons that other people get excited to talk to you. Who cares that you have a theology degree? No, I care deeply about that. I just want to talk to you about etouffee and all things
all
Louisiana.
about it. I'll give you my mama's recipe. Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, you being from South Louisiana it's funny, isn't it? I know you travel all over the world, even though you've had a pause because, I don't know if you heard about, what happened in 2020, Katie, but we all kind of took a break from traveling. But when you do meet someone from Louisiana, it's different. And I'm a Texan, listen, and we're a proud state. I don't know if you've heard of us, but we like people to know that we exist. But there's something about Louisiana, especially South Louisiana, where you just kind of, I don't know, you can tip your hat at each other. You know what I mean? Like you're just like,
Yeah. I've met people traveling before and it's like, oh, where are you from? And as soon as you hear that they're from Louisiana, there's like an instant connection of, the three questions we used to always joke was, where are you from? Who's your mama? And can you make a roux? And like those three questions would immediately make you a friend of whatever random Louisiana person you have bumped into. And it's the who's your mama question, like that immediately, I'm probably related to you, or like I know somebody that's related to you, or you drank your first drink at my grandfather's bar in Southwest Louisiana, which is like still there and is operating as a different bar now, but everybody still knows it as Prejean's. Like that's just the name of it. Yeah.
That's the way that it goes. I mean, that's how I know you is because of my cousin. I mean, how Louisiana is that?
Yeah, no, it's true. And like Randall's not even like, he's from like a little town further away from where I am, but it doesn't matter because like it's the same diocese, it's the same general people, and he married a good friend of my sister, and like we all now go to the same church parish, and our kids are growing up together, and it's just
and everybody's like
life in Louisiana.
But you're talking to Katie McGrady with SiriusXM, the Catholic channel, and the theologian and the Steubenville speaker, and I'm like, okay, but I'm talking to Randall, Melissa's friend. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it's great. Exactly. It doesn't matter to us. No, but I love that because it feels like family. And then when you add the Catholic part on top of it, which let's be honest, can you even throw a rock in South Louisiana and not hit a Catholic? I mean,
no. So I was crunching the numbers yesterday because Louisiana just passed a referendum that May the 1st is now St. Joseph the Worker Day.
Oh, wow.
Like in the state. So like only in Louisiana do you have a Catholic state senator who's like, I want to make a St. Joseph Day, like officially on the calendar. It's going to be a thing. So I did the numbers. We have 7 dioceses in the state of Louisiana. The state of Louisiana has a population of about 4.6 million people. In the Archdiocese of Los Angeles alone, like just the diocese, there's 4.5 million people. So our state is about the size of one archdiocese in California, but we have 7 dioceses to cover just the spread of Catholics because of the concentration of the area. So like in the state of Louisiana, we've got those 7 dioceses, within like a 3-hour stretch of I-10, you hit like Charles Lafayette, Houma, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and you go up central Louisiana, which doesn't count, and you get Alexandria and Shreveport, and like it's just you can't walk into Walmart without seeing Father or seeing the choir director or seeing the little old lady who has been praying her rosary at 5 a.m. every day for her entire life in the Adoration Chapel. And that's, sometimes it's hard to live here because of these hurricanes, but at the end of the day, like I can't leave because it is home.
It is. It's very comforting and it's very warm. The people are warm. The music. It's a different culture. I mean, there's some places in the United States and it literally has its own culture. And Louisiana is, but they're known for that, and people just think it's New Orleans. And listen, we love New Orleans, but it's not. It's not just New Orleans, other places can make beignets, you guys. And the best king cakes are in Lafayette. That's all I got to say. But
I would agree.
I have mine shipped in. That's how extra I am. I get it shipped in, but tell the people that is worth it. And that is an extra. That's a necessity.
It is. Next level is I learned how to make them this year. Baking was my COVID project. And so during Mardi Gras, it made perfect sense that I would invest myself in learning how to make a good king cake. And let me say, I think I became the favorite mom at Rose's school because I would just bring one every week to the office. And finally, one of the ladies was like, you have to stop. Like, none of our pants are going to fit at the end of Mardi Gras. It's like, then I know I'm doing something right.
That's right. That's why God gave us Lent.
Exactly.
So you can get back into your pants. And the church is like, please stop telling people what Lent is. That's not at all what it is. Good thing Katie's here, everybody. She has a degree in theology. She'll correct anything I say that's wrong. So Katie, I'm glad you brought up the baking thing because I got to say, a lot of us went to the interwebs to fulfill our social needs during COVID, and you were definitely a stalking. Interesting. Not that I stalked you. I loved to watch you bake. I was like, you became the Food Network for me. It was you and, the girl that was married to Ben Affleck. I love that I can't think of her name right now. Jennifer Garner. The girl. Garner. Yeah. She's like a famous actress.
Doesn't matter.
You know, Jen. You and Jen. You two got me through the pandemic, and I want to know what that was like for you. This is very pressing information, everybody. No, I'm not going to ask her about her new books or any of her speaking engagements. I want to talk about your baking and how it brought you closer to the Lord. That's what I want to know.
I'm fine with that. I travel a lot, like in the before times. And in fact, I think an important part of the baking story is not one that I've really talked about a whole lot. But so the week that everything shut down in the world, I was in Missouri for a parish mission, and my husband and I got in this huge fight while I was on the road because Rose was missing me and he was missing me. And obviously me not being home, the family dynamic gets thrown off. And I kind of forgotten that, you go to work, you come home in a normal job, but when you travel, the family life is different when one of the parents is not there. And different families make different things work. And we had made it work up to that point, I thought, in a very healthy way without really paying attention to the fact that Rose and Tommy were both suffering because I was on the road as much as I was. So then God gives us COVID and the world just closes. And so at first I was like, okay, this will be a month, me home, not on the road. It's probably exactly what we need. Thank you for the break, Jesus. And then it became 2 months. And then it became 3 months, and I was pregnant at the time, and we had some placenta issues, and so I was on modified bed rest. And so really the only thing that I could do, because I wasn't really supposed to be going on long walks, and Tommy and Rose were taking walks every day, and the doctor didn't even really want me driving, not that I was supposed to be driving anyway, because the world was shut down, and I certainly wasn't able to get on planes for a variety of different reasons. So I found myself at home, and my options were I can watch Netflix, I can do podcasting, which you can only release so many episodes before people get annoyed. And we have a plan with the Ave podcast. So, I couldn't just go rogue. So I had a stand mixer that my mom gave me for Christmas that had really just been sitting on the counter, largely untouched. And I said, you know what? I'm going to order the King Arthur baking companion, and I'm just going to bake my way through the book.
You were like Julie and Julia. You were like that movie. Wow.
I did. I just started on page 1. I was like, okay, rye bread, here we go. And I've, gradually figured out the things that I like to bake, the things that my family like. And it was about month 2 of we're home. It was the tic-tac, we're home in the house and we're in the house board. Like we were just all home. My husband's a teacher, so he was really home. Like he definitely was trying to do the e-learning thing. Rose thought she was in trouble for a little while. Like that's why she wasn't going back to school. And we finally had to explain to her, like, no, nobody's there, Rose. Like you didn't get kicked out of school. Like this is everybody's home together all the time. And Tommy made the comment one day, he like walked in and he's like, ooh, what are you baking today? And I said, I think I'm going to try a cobbler. And he kind of started laughing and he was like, I don't know if it's okay that I'm really happy that the world is closed, that you become like this domestic goddess who's baking all these things. But I'm just really happy that I can walk into this kitchen at any point in the day and there's something freshly made for me to consume. And it was just kind of like this wake up call of I've got all these awesome projects and these great pursuits and like I've got a good job. But like at the end of the day, one of my main roles and like one of the things that I am called to do as wife and mom in this family is to try to provide that. And that looks different for everybody. Like some people, baking is not the thing that they love on their family with, but that became the thing that I loved on my family with. In fact, when we finish this interview today, I have to go bake some gluten-free cookies for our neighbors across the street who watched our dog when we were on vacation. And I baked the first batch of cookies, and one of the kids like very subtly told me like my mom couldn't have any of them because she's gluten-free now. I was like, not a problem. I have almond flour. I've got Nutella. We've got this. Like I have a great recipe that I can use. And I love that I have that skill now. Now, obviously, it's tapered off a bit just with the busyness of life, but there's my rule of thumb is Tuesday's usually my baking day because I only have an hour of the show on Tuesdays, and there will be fresh cookies in the cookie jar. Like if you open up the cookie jar, you will be able to grab a cookie, and it's super simple. Just make your dough ahead of time and keep it in the freezer. Just throw it in the oven. It's not that big of a deal, but it's something that I'm able to just give to my family in a small way, and it changed a lot of my perspective on what it means to build a domestic church. Let's just say that.
Okay, here's so many things that I want to talk about. Number one, you have a cookie jar. That's what's missing. That's why I'm not baking is because I do not have a cookie jar.
Yeah, you got to get a cookie jar.
So that's my first mistake. So now I know. Now my kids will be like, is that why we never had cookies? I'll be like, yes. I didn't know until Katie McGrady told me that's why I'm not a good baker. So I'll fix that. Second of all, I love that you have 45 jobs. Don't tell me you don't. Because I counted, and we all know what a mathematician I am. I'm known for my math skills, my theology skills, and my math skills. Samesies. And you have 45 jobs, yet you have frozen cookie dough in your freezer.
Yeah.
I have one job that I made up. I'm doing it right now. I just made it up. And I do it at my house, and I do it once a week. And I have never had cookie dough in my freezer. This has been really good for my self-esteem, Katie. You're doing the Lord's work. Don't go into counseling.
Here's the hack. You make a double batch, like on a Sunday afternoon when it's raining and you can't go anywhere anyway. And then you just put it in a Tupperware container in your freezer.
You're adorable.
And there it is.
I love that you believe in me. I love that you.
Yeah, you can even just get the Pillsbury stuff. It doesn't have to
there we go.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be homemade. It can just be,
That's brilliant.
Like a cookie is a cookie.
Roll it in a ball, stick it in the freezer, and I'm like, kids.
Yep. Ready to go.
This has been life-changing.
And make a pizookie where you don't even have to like dish them out into individual cookies. You just like flatten it out like a cookie cake.
Like the restaurants?
On a pan.
Do you know how to do that?
Oh yeah, it's super simple. And you throw it in the oven, you bake it according to whatever the recipe is. You leave it a little mushy, you throw some ice cream on top, bam. You got your family dessert.
You are like basically Father Leo at this point. You're like the layperson of Catholic cooking. You two need to get together.
No, just baking. My cooking skills are still very much like there's like 10 things in rotation, and thank God for the Instant Pot. Like truly, like that's the cooking side of things. It's more the baking side that I can handle.
But y'all could do a cruise together. I could just see this now, a Catholic cruise with Father Leo.
Oh, yeah.
He's cooking, and you got Katie McGrady, and she's baking. And in between, we'll have Scott Hahn give a lecture. Look at that. I just wrote an amazing Matthew Kelly could fly in on a helicopter.
There you go.
Tim Staples could come on a boat. I don't know anybody else. I'm just saying names at this point. Everybody's going to go to the website. They'll be like, I want to go on that cruise you were talking about. And now I have a new job.
When does that happen?
Now I run pilgrimages, everybody. That's fantastic. Okay. So I do want to kind of maybe confess this, even though you're not a priest, although I really am trying to make you into one. I mean, I'm trying to make you Father Leo, and now I'm trying to, what am I doing? Okay. But this this is an okay confession. Don't worry. No one will, walk away. I have started, and I want to go back to something. I want to introduce this concept to the public that is watching these two Louisiana Cajun gals. There's a thing in Louisiana called Gumbo. And I didn't know everyone didn't know what that was. Like, I just thought it was something that sandwiches. Like, it's just something that everybody knows what a meatball sub is. You don't have to be from New York. You know what it is. Okay. We all have Subway. So gumbo is I would call it a stew. I think that's what it technically is. Well, I grew up with a chicken and turkey gumbo. That's what my mom always made, especially not chicken, sausage and turkey. What am I doing? Yes, that's right. I had to think about it because it always happens after Thanksgiving. My mom would boil down the carcass and take the turkey and make the gumbo for the next day with the sausage and the whole thing. And you have the Holy Trinity. It's a religious experience. It is, because good gumbo, there's nothing better. But now here's where I'm confessing, Katie, and I'm terrified, and I'm hoping we're going to be okay after this. We are now, because I'm going to go ahead and throw my mom under the bus. We are now baking our roux. And roux is flour and butter or flour and oil. And there's a lot of people, I don't know which one you prefer. I go back and forth when I make a roux. And the woman who helped raise me, her name was Miss Bertha. And she taught me when we were making roux to make it as dark as the bottom of the Mississippi River. That's what she would teach me. And now I do that, but I put it in the oven. I'm scared. What do you think about that? Baking roux.
So I'm going to confess on the radio that we actually use the jar.
No, you don't.
That gets our roux started, because when I'm in the mood for gumbo, I don't want to wait 8 hours. I want 3 hours max. And my Yankee husband, who is from Pennsylvania,
he is
makes a better gumbo than I do. Like, he truly does.
That's so a real confession.
It is. I mean, my gumbo's not bad. My mom's is better. My dad's is really, really good. But my husband's, we did a little a little gumbo competition between my husband and my sister. And Tommy he's not afraid to use different spices that try to bring out different flavor profiles. And he grills so he does chicken and sausage. He grills his chicken and sausage first rather than boil it down to seep the flavor into that first. And then puts it into his roux, which he uses the Richard's jar roux. So you just take a scoop of it, and then you do still have to stand there and stir it. It's not just magical. You just add water and then boom, you have it. There is effort, but it's now I'm craving it. It's not the weather for it. It's too hot outside, and we'd all probably get sick if we made gumbo right now, because it's the gumbo gods would be like, no, you're gonna call a hurricane out of the Gulf if you make gumbo right now. But I think that's how that works. Better than mine. I really do. It's true. Don't wake the Gulf right now. It's sleeping, and we're happy that it's sleeping, and we're not gonna go through that again. And there was a lot of baking and a lot of gumbo that happened during evacuation, and Tommy's takes the cake, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're not doing that right now. And guys, don't fill up her inbox telling her that as Catholics we don't believe in calling the sea.
Yeah, no. This is me just being. Don't go get me fired.
No, please. She needs all 48 jobs. Well, I'm gonna see if I can convince you to try the baking of the roux, because that is a game changer. Because again, you don't want to stand at your stove and stir for an hour and a half. There. No one's arms are that strong anymore. This has been absolutely lovely. You know what? Will you stick around, because I'd really love to come back and play a game with you if you're up for that. So guys, don't go anywhere. You are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison.